You ready? You ready to get this?
Yeah, let's go, man.
I've been waiting to hear you guys go after each other for what, 3 weeks now?
Hey, you're not again. No one's safe.
Okay. I guess I should have I should have came prepared. I guess.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, here we go.
It's the hot take horror show.
Yes, it is. We're doing this, man. And we're doing this shit hard, bro.
The first take of horror. Here we go.
Here we go. All right, everybody. With all that being said, welcome back to the Zenhouse channel. We're doing something new here. This is going to be the debut episode of our new podcast called the Zenhouse Podcast. Generic name, I know, but I wanted it to be congruent with the channel and shit like that. So it's just a bar talk, man. No setup, no rules, no limits, no formalities, just shooting the shit. So today we're going to talk about mostly Neve Campbell drama going on. I got two very, very good friends of mine, Michael Tula and Rupert Sanchez. How we doing, guys?
Good.
Well,
good,
yeah, we're doing well. And yes, I want to first off, start off the banter with giving a shout out to you, Zach, for starting the channel that you always wanted to start. This is kind of like the thing you want to do. You've gotten good with these reviews too. I watch all your stuff. So, the clip is loaded, so to speak. I got a lot of ammo if I needed to have on you. And shout out to Troy Parker. I have never seen, I don't watch Stranger Things, but you guys' review, I feel it's not like I get use guys' reviews on season 4, was interesting to hear y'all's recap. And I didn't even watch the show. So shout out to Troy Parker and Gabe too.
Yeah. Good old Gabe. Appreciate that, man. That means a lot. What about you, Rupe? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Good. I'm just ready to, all these hot takes from the twos of you. I'm ready to find out what's what, I'm ready to see what's what.
All right. Well, I'll start it off. I'll start this off basically then. How do you feel personally about all this shit going on with Neve Campbell?
How do I feel? Well, it really depends who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to the people who are like, well, she was hardly in the last one, so who cares? Well, those people don't know what the hell they're talking about, and that's okay. If I'm talking to the people that understand and recognize the importance of, her character when it comes to the franchise, and not only that, the story, then I'm, nodding my head yes, and I'm not worried about those people. Just to sum it up and keep it short, so we can go to someone else right now and get into.
That makes sense.
I think it boils down to what the intent, what is with these new filmmakers. If their intent was to pivot into a new set of characters, then I think they did their job setting them up in Scream, I guess 2021, 2. What year did it come out? Whatever year,
baby.
Doesn't matter.
This year,
22. So they Scream 5. They did their job. If that was their job, if that's what was their intent, they did their job. You know enough about the characters. Now, it's various degrees of wanting to see it, right? Like, there's people who are sold 100%. They want to see what happens next or whatever. And there's people who are with the old school crew, with the Deweys of the world it's not alive anymore. So of the OG people, there's only 2 people left, So it's Gail and it's Sydney. And how many times are they going to escape with their life when they have a serial killer coming after them? So it's common sense. It's just common sense. So, but here's the thing, though. From what I've seen and read and heard, to me, they wrote it in a way where they didn't need Sydney if she played hardball and if the fans didn't care. But they gave themselves space to use her if there was pushback. Because now they're going to use her, I think. And it's still going to be, I don't think, she's not going to be a main character in the movie. So it's really like they're having their cake and eating it too, because they're just giving you enough city so you don't complain. But at the end of the day, they're still doing what they want to do.
Well, if rumors are to be true, she's got a small part to play in 6, which leads into a huge part in 7. So you got to wonder, if they're going to give her a big part in Scream 7, what does that do to the new cast? Does she just come in and take over them, or what?
Well, there's no wondering to be had. I mean, just if you listen to what Rupert said, it sounded like a con artist trying to sell you a product, you thinking it's one thing when it's not. Listen, I got nothing against Applebee's. Okay. I'd argue their happy hour, pound for pound, is probably up there with the best of them when you're talking about, all the big franchises in America.
I agree with that.
But if you're trying to pass an Applebee's for a Vic and Anthony's, you're going to run into some problems. And there's some people that are going to be okay with it. Some people aren't. But there's a reason why. Listen, there's a reason why they didn't have, Melissa Barrera or Jenny Ortega on the press tour. There's a reason why they put, Sidney Prescott predominantly. It looks like her movie in Scream 5. And she looks like she comes on. It looks like she's one of the main characters. There's a reason why there was how many thousands of references to the original. I mean, they even had Stu's house in Scream 5. They were trying to do everything in their power to tell you this is Scream. This is basically like Scream 1. And they're focusing on all these characters because they're trying to marvelize, Scream. They're trying to marvelize, Scream to set up everything coming down the pike, but they know damn well no one's going to see the movie if you take Sidney out of it, because guess what? Take Sidney out of, obviously, part 1, you got no movie. Take Sidney out of part 2, you got no movie. Take Sidney out of 3, you got no movie. I'm not going to disrespect everyone's intelligence here and, let them know why Sidney wasn't, or Neve Campbell wasn't available she had a limited shoot, limited window for her shoot dates for part 3. That's the only reason why they didn't have her in as much as they did. But if you take her story out, her family history out, there's no story, there's no movie. Scream 4, the exact same thing. There's no movie, no story. Scream 5, you take Sidney out of it, there's no story. So it sounds like a Marvel thing. The legacy characters, like what? And, I don't really think we got to know or care about these new characters as much as we should have, because they were trying to have their cake and eat it too. Because that's why a lot of people didn't like the legacy characters. It's a two-way street. They wouldn't have seen the movie if they didn't have the legacy characters in there, and they try to set up these new characters, which nobody would have cared about. If that's the only characters we're going to see. It's a Scream movie, so that's basically the take. That's why they know they need Neve Campbell. And so she was the one that was on the press tours along with David Arquette and Courtney Cox, and they got over 100. What was the box office, Zach? Like over 100 million, maybe 150. Who knows how much? They killed it. And you're trying to tell me that they had no part in playing that? Absolutely not. But I'll pass the buck.
Listen, this is how I know you've never seen wrestling a day in your life.
Oh, here we go.
Hear me out. What Neve Campbell and Dewey and Gail Weathers did is they as in the wrestling world, they call it put over.
We understand this. I told you this in eloquent terms. Now you're bringing the podcast down. But okay, we're not at Golden Corral. We're at freaking Vic and Anthony's, Roop. We're at wherever seafood place you just went to.
Hey, before you go though, Roop, hold on. Let me interject real quick. I kind of disagree though. Like, I think to me it felt like Scream 5 was more so Sam and Tara's story. If you take Sidney out, I don't think it'll change it that much. I really don't.
And you know why? You want to know why? Because that's good. Listen. I thought I was coming here. No one can ever accuse me of not being, of being a selfish guy. Because I just came over here just to do a YouTube, video with you guys. Unbeknownst to me, this is now turned into a coaching session, a free coaching session for Zach. I just talked to you guys about this. The issue was hardly in the first. That story doesn't work without Sidney. No one's going to see Scream.
It does work without Sidney. What do you mean?
The story is. You would never have seen it. You would never have seen it. You would never have seen it, and you would never have gotten to see it. Not many people would have. So I would have. They didn't want to do a full-on remake, which they should have done. They didn't want to do, if they were going this route, they didn't want to do they didn't want to just completely redo the whole thing.
Right.
So, you know, and everyone, whoever comes with the talking point, well, you know, they did a series about it. Yeah, because it was its own thing. And that was able to work. Didn't even take place in Woodsboro. It was like Lakeboro, Lakewood, or whatever. And they had their own characters, their own lore, all that stuff. So they're trying to cash in. And the only reason why they know that they can is if they connect you with the original story. And that's it. Sam wouldn't have any connection to Billy. That's to bring, they're using the nostalgia. They're trying to connect you with the original story. They can't do their own. And they don't want to do their own, but they're trying to do it both ways.
Listen. The point that we're making is that they could connect you to the original story without having Sydney in the movie, because all they had to do was have Billy in it, and that would have done. You don't need Sydney anymore at that point.
True, but they didn't go that route.
But they could have. It's the point.
Well, then why didn't they?
And that's why they were prepared to go in this movie in Scream 6. They were prepared to go that way if Sydney played hardball, if Neve Campbell played hardball.
Listen, our intelligence is not to be insulted. We know what they're trying to do. So we know they're putting up all these other characters first. We know Neve Campbell's not going to be in it, play a major part. They've been showing us from part 4, from part 5. They keep going away from her story, but they keep trying to bring her back to bring you in. It's like this weird seesaw that they're trying to do. But, you know, again, if it was my easy way to solve this whole problem, and you know, they should listen to this. If anyone's listening, the directors, any of that, all you have to do, you want to extend this, end this story at Scream 7, right? That's going to be the trilogy of this. Yeah. Scream 7, redo it, make it a new nightmare afterwards to keep going. So you new nightmare the Scream series. Now all of a sudden, every single character comes into play. You have all these angles. Everyone's playing themselves in real life. What better way to honor Wes Craven by, you know,
by ripping off the worst Nightmare on Elm Street movie?
You know,
that's not the worst Nightmare movie, bro.
I'm going to take that as a joke.
It's up there.
That's right. It's up there. It's basically Scream. It's more meta than Scream. You're calling it the worst.
The new. What
do you prefer? Part 5? You want to be there with a power pad and freaking killing people? You prefer that one over that one?
The new Nightmare is not a good movie, bro. There's no way you think that.
You know,
there's no way you think that.
I wouldn't think it's the worst. I think Freddy's Dead and 5 are the worst.
Yeah, but listen, it's up there with the worst of the series.
I think it was a good concept, though. You know,
you just don't like the series, and that's just say I don't like or I don't prefer the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
I like the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I just don't like that movie. I thought it was dumb.
Well, congratulations, you're a unicorn. Okay, I haven't heard.
That's not true.
Really?
Not true. I guarantee you. We look it up right now. I guarantee that movie has shit reviews. Both fan and critic.
All right. Well, while you go look that up, I'm gonna say you're telling me they can't do a good spin-off of that with Scream. That way they can make it original. Everyone's gonna be involved. You tell me no one's gonna want to see that movie? Everyone's gonna want to see that movie. Then you can bring back Matthew.
6.4 fan, 64 Metacritic. Okay, so it's considered a man movie. Not great, not bad.
So you just made an opinion without knowing exactly what the heck you're talking about. Congratulations. You just exposed yourself.
That's the general consensus. What I'm saying.
Just exposed your general consensus.
I think it's bad. The general consensus thinks it's whatever.
All right. Well, let me talk to you in horror movie talk. That was the 6th installment of the franchise. 7th.
How many times am I going to 10-8 you in this conversation?
You're completely exposing yourself. Your futility is only superseded by your patheticism with that take. You're calling New Nightmare the worst.
You're gonna, not the worst. I said it's one of the worst. One of the worst.
I mean, there's like only so many movies to choose from, Rupert. What would you choose? What rank the series then?
Oh, I can't rank the series. I have to think about it. But what I'm saying is
because
it's in the bottom half. If I were to rank the movies, I promise you it's in the bottom half of the ranking.
I
That's
mean,
what I'm
okay.
saying.
Well,
You
then
know-
what's the best sequel then?
You know,
Part two.
not to
Get out of here, man.
not to stir the pot, but Roop, I think you did say earlier it was the worst nightmare. You singled it
No, I
out.
said one. I think I'm pretty sure I said one of the worst.
We're getting
Well, I
off
said
track.
they're-
Yeah,
Regardless,
we are
Or
getting
one
off
of the
track.
worst.
Yeah.
are you
we are
telling
getting- Yeah, I said one
me
of the worst.
you telling me you wouldn't want to see a Scream movie
If
that
they did it right, if anyone could do it right, is people dealing with the Scream material.
yeah,
The reason I don't think it
Yeah.
works with the Nightmare on Elm Street is because Nightmare on Elm Street is not meta in the way that Scream is meta. Does that
Yeah, I
make
think
sense?
it would. I think it would work
So-
better with the Scream universe.
That I agree with you 100%. I think it works way more in Scream than it could have ever worked on Nightmare on Elm Street.
So you're basically agreeing with my point. We went all that around.
No,
to basically
No,
say-
what I'm saying is that like could it work? Yes. I'm just saying it was not that great in my opinion with Nightmare on Elm Street. And if I'm being honest, I'm not really that interested in seeing it in Scream, especially because we see it time and time again with the stab movies, and we saw it. We
what
got a
stab
taste of it.
movie?
We got a taste of it in Scream 3, right? Where it's two sets of two Gail Weathers, two Deweys,
No,
two Sidney
bro.
Prescotts,
You know what? We're
and
not
it was
doing.
whack.
We're not doing any of that crap. We're doing. Everyone's playing themselves, so it's a different movie, but it's got the same rule. It's completely different. No one's gonna do two Gail Weathers. There's only one Courtney Cox, only one Neve Campbell, only one, David Arquette. There's only one Jamie Kennedy. You got a whole bunch of angles. You can have Jamie Kennedy come back and be the killer, saying, "Hey, you killed me off too soon." You can make a story about him
understand
doing all
where
this
you're
stuff
going
with a
with it.
career. You
I
can make a
understand where you're going with
badass
it.
Scream movie with the real actors themselves, and then
Tula, listen to me. I think you can make a badass Scream movie with the real actors. And you know what I mean? I think you can do it. But if we're being honest, look at the people that have taken over the reins of the Scream movies. Nobody, like, this last Scream was pretty good, right? It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was a good time. I thought they did a good job with it. But we haven't had a legitimate great movie outside of the first one. So why are we expecting them to make a great Scream movie? It's not going to happen.
no one's expecting it. This is an alternative that I think will spike more interest. You know what I mean? And it's a fresher take because you can have your cake and eat it too. Somewhat. Because it's not you're not keeping the story going. It's a complete redo of everything, but you're bringing everyone back that everyone loves. So it's interesting. I think you need to watch New Nightmare again.
Maybe. You know what? I'm gonna do it just to revisit this conversation later.
Because they brought in the producers of the movie, they brought in the directors of the movie. It was it's basically like one grandiose BTS of what it's like to be an actor in Hollywood. Only Ghostface is trying to kill you.
Right.
Well, that's the cool
It
thing
could
too.
be
Is
interesting. It could be interesting. Yeah.
that's the cool thing too. Is with Nightmare on Elm Street, New Nightmare is kind of the supernatural stuff with Freddy, but Scream, that shit could really happen. Someone can put on a costume and go after Neve Campbell in real life. So it would be very meta, but it would be a cool concept. I'd be hip to it.
You can make sequels. That's what
I'd
I'm
be hip
saying.
to it.
You can, and then the people in the conventions now, they're gonna dig it too. These actors too. They found a new, I guess, a second
But how do
life.
you market that movie though? Do you market that movie as a Scream movie, and then when you go watch it, you realize that it's not Sidney Prescott but Neve Campbell playing herself?
Bro, it's just the same way. Look up the trailer for New Nightmare. It's the same thing. They're playing themselves. You just say it in a trailer.
No, that's what I mean. Is how do you market it? Though?
Yeah, it's Scream.
Oh, I don't know what it is.
It's Scream.
Well, let me ask you this.
But
So
that doesn't solve your new character problem, though. Sorry, Zach, I gotta cut you off. That doesn't
Yep.
like say you can make that movie and it could be meta and it could be great, but then how do you don't reset anything because now you're gonna continue with a whole new set of characters. Now, is it real or is it fake? You know what I mean? It's
No,
like,
you-
nobody's gonna really care.
Everything's solved because it's a blank slate. It's an empty canvas. You still follow the rules and you have all these actors that have been in the franchise. So it's a cooler, if you're going to Marvelize the franchise, it's a cooler way to do it because it's meta without being the the triple entendre meta where the characters know they're in a horror movie and no, it's just the actors and you have a killer out there. And the only thing meta is they're playing themselves and that's it. There's no, is this real? It's just like New Nightmare. I guess, did you think that was part 6 or something? I don't know. We're going to get off the topic, but
yeah. Let's stay on Scream 6.
yeah.
You're still a New Nightmare. I obviously know New Nightmare. What I'm saying is that it doesn't solve the bigger problem. It's just a Band-Aid. And I wouldn't be that into that Band-Aid anyway.
It's not a Band-Aid. It's a fake problem. You're making it a problem. It's not a problem. It solves everything.
You're making it a problem. You're saying you don't give a shit about the new characters.
No, I'm saying
you're not going to give a shit about the new characters regardless if they do a new New Nightmare type movie.
You are incorrect because the crowd has if you pay attention, you'd understand. Everyone has a relationship with Neve Campbell. Everyone has a relationship with Matthew Lillard, with Skeet Ulrich, with Jamie Kennedy, Hayden Panettiere. You're basically doing their characters, their fame. Everyone, people are waiting 2 hours, 3, 4 hours, 6 hours all day just to get a picture and an autograph from these people at these conventions. You're telling me they're not going to be interested? The relationship is already built in.
No. You're missing the point. What I'm saying is that post
getting my
new
point,
Nightmare
brother.
movie. No. Listen, post this new Nightmare movie. You're saying you restart over with new people, but
no, I'm not saying that, bro.
Oh,
the characters are new, but it's restarted because we already know these people. It's not.
What?
How is it? I don't understand. Make any sense? Ask your question again because I don't understand how this is confusing.
You're saying the next movie is a new Nightmare movie where the real Neve Campbell's playing herself and she's being stalked by a serial killer wearing the ghostface mask, and it's like a new type. Like it's like all the movies that happened before it were fake and they were movies instead of real life. Is what you're saying, and that's how you restart the series. Is with new characters post this movie. That's what you're saying. Correct?
Everyone plays themselves.
I know, but post this movie, you're so stuck in that point. I know what you mean that everybody plays themselves. I'm saying post this movie. After this movie ends, however it ends, whoever's revealed the killer, whatever, that's soft. Scream 8 or Scream 9. You're not gonna care about those characters because if you don't care about them now, what's gonna change from here to then? That's what I'm saying.
Everyone
you
cares.
need to work on. What you need to work on is caring about those characters. You need to worry about building those characters, like the ones you have now with Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera. You need to build those characters and have people care about them. That's how you build a long-standing franchise.
You can't do that when the movie has 50,000 characters and then they're bringing in legacy characters that they're just not going to use anyway. Jenna Ortega, we just saw her. She's a fantastic actress, but her character, we just saw her scream, cry, hide in the hospital, and get thrown in a closet. That's it. So, and all these other characters, they just got killed off.
Hey, by the way, I just spent 2 weeks.
Everyone knows these characters already. They're the actors. You start it over. It's a whole new thing. It's Scream. It's meta. It's perfect. It worked with New Nightmare, and it absolutely can work even better here. Yes, they can. Absolutely. You're stuck on this conception that we need to build and have these new characters to care about. We don't need any of that. They're doing it. I'm telling you, you don't need any of that. And in my opinion, the further we go away from Sydney's story, the less interesting the story becomes, and it has to be this referential. These characters can't even become themselves because they have to be relatives of these old characters. We have the new Randy Meeks. We have the new this. We have the new that.
But that's what I mean. I think that's just like lazy, right? We saw it with Creed. We're seeing it with this.
What's lazy?
That so and so is related to this
connected characters. Yeah.
I think that's lazy as fuck. Like I don't think
that's why they should just remake it if that's what they're gonna want to do. Just reboot.
No, but you can. Why is it? Listen, here. Don't say anything for the next 2 minutes. Listen to what I'm about to say.
I'm trying not to say something too egregious where I have to get in because there's a responsibility to the audience. We have a responsibility.
Listen. I know it's hard for you to learn. It's okay.
It's very easy.
Why is it so hard to wrap your mind around that there could be a serial killer that commits a slew of crimes, and then 2-3 years later, 2 people who are not related to those people at all would decide to copycat them. Why is that such a crazy thought? It's not. It happens all the time. But in movies, for some fucking reason, they can't wrap their mind around it. For God's sakes, there is in Colorado, there was a serial killer that copied the Scream Killers. So there was a serial killer in Colorado too that copied Joker, right? So you don't need that. It doesn't have to be connected, but the screenwriters and the producers and the studio is dead set on everything has to be connected, or the audience won't care.
Hey, Rupert,
I don't believe that.
You know how I kind of agree with you is if you take Scream 5, if you make Sam not Billy's daughter, just a regular Sam and Tara or just regular group of siblings, you could still play that movie the same way out, and it would really change nothing. Hardly anything.
Yeah, I mean,
they didn't have to make her related to Billy. She could have just been Sam Carpenter.
No.
So
Yeah.
that's what you're saying. They relied on the whole Billy fucking thing. Oh, let's make her Billy's daughter. Why?
Nothing that Rupert said, I disagree with. By the way, I'm 100% with you on that.
Yeah. It's just they did it with her. They did it with the twins. Everything is even the mom was the girl that Billy was with cheated with Sydney, right? They don't explicitly say it, but they allude to it, right? So it's everything. They just can't help themselves. They think that the only way we're gonna go watch these movies is if these people are related to the legacy characters. And it's like, wait a second, man. Like, these things happen all over the country, and people get inspired by serial killers all the time. They don't have to be connected. Like, if they did this, imagine Scream in New York City with a set of random characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would be interesting.
This is what this next one should be, especially if Sydney's not there. And that makes me want to ask you, Tula kind of already answered this when he was going on his rant. But as far as Rupert,
how disrespectful. How dismissive.
Do you think
I'm offended?
Do you think that this movie will be lessened without Sydney? Or do you think they can rely on the new cast and crew, which I think they can because it's a talented group of people. It's what I said in my other video. I don't think
Here's the thing.
If you don't have Sydney, I don't think it's going to kill the movie. You could still have a good story without her.
This is where I agree with Tula. Is that I think Melissa Barrera, I've seen her in many things. She's Mexican. So I followed her career, since she was in Mexico, ever since she came to the States.
She's great.
She's a talented actress.
Yeah.
Jenna Ortega, talented. All the other kids, talented.
Fatty
you know
actors.
what? They can't make the script better. You know what I mean? Like, if the script is not good, they can only do so much with what they're given. And, if you're asking me, do I believe that the screenwriters are going to give them what they need to make the movie great? I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. Can they do it? Yes, 100%. They're talented enough where they could carry the next movie on their own, and we don't need to see Gail. We don't need to see Sydney. But will the script be good enough? That's the real question. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. How do you think Kirby's going to fit into this story? Way across in New York, like.
Oh,
what are you feeling on Kirby?
That's right. This next movie's in New York. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I just kind of said randomly, just a random like metropolitan, and it turns out that it was I think she's gonna be the opening kill, if you ask me.
But do you bring a character that big and that much of a fan favorite back just to kill her in the first fucking scene?
I wouldn't, but I think they would.
That's kind of disrespectful, in my opinion.
I think they're gonna try to, because they haven't been able to top the Drew Barrymore kill scene. So
they tried with Tara. Oh, you're talking about as far as like star power. Okay.
Right.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. What about you, Tula? How do you feel about Kirby? How do they bring her into the mix, man?
It's very easy. I could see that easily. She was, her character was very bright. I always admired Hayden Panettiere for her ability to, there was that one scene where she's on the phone and she's spitting off every single movie or franchise. Is like a minute long. She probably rehearsed the heck out of that, or maybe she didn't. But I was thinking, like, as an actor, I was like, that must have been so hard to pull off. She pulled it off great. I like her as an actress. Her character coming back, I love it because it's doing it right in the sense that they're filling the lore. They gave you a little teaser with the thumbnails in part 5. She's a good enough character to where there's already a relationship with her there. So they don't need to set her up. They don't need to make anyone care about her off the bat. We can just put her in there and we're on board. And it makes sense that she's in New York because she seemed, very with it. And she seemed to care a lot about movies. So it seems like naturally you could fit her in as a journalist, or a media. I don't know how old her character would be by now, but, it seems like New York is a place where she would end up, given her skill set. It's media capital of the world. Who knows? They give her a media job, whatever. Opening kill, I think, Scream 5, it was basically a recreation. It was a nice one, but a recreation of something we've seen before already. I think the opening kill would be awesome if it was done in a news station and if it was Gale Weathers. Mm-hmm. And if we started to get the hint that something was up by Ghostface messing with the teleprompter.
Yeah, see, that'd be badass. That'd be badass.
And then all of a sudden it's like, what the hell is going on? So the whole thing's a newscast and they can fill in the gaps of what happened before with the news, or something new happened. They could do it with the news, and then all of a sudden something's not right. And it can even be like a 15-minute opener, have a badass opener, and it'd be done in a news station. That's something like, man, if that happens, they kill her, they give her an awesome kill. Then it's like, holy crap, we're in it. And it's something we haven't seen before, because the 6th installment, Scream 5, I'd give credit for a 5th installment. It's probably one of the best, if not the best, 5th installment of a movie franchise in history. Given
no question about
Scream's the best horror movie franchise in history, you can throw any one of them in and you're going to have a good time. And there's legitimate good filmmaking across the board, acting across the board, what have you. But here I think they have an opportunity to do something different. And I'm like the rumors that I'm hearing, with Sydney, because they can include, even if they have her as the final phone call in part 6, I mean, what better way to set up part 7? Yeah. And, Ghostface, now it's coming after her, and it's different now because Ghostface was going after Sydney. Sydney was just fighting for herself, fighting for her life. Now she has, 1 or 2 kids, a husband?
At least one, right? Yeah, at least one.
A lot more to lose, easy targets for Ghostface to come after, 2 of which are vulnerable, the kids. And that's going to cause a lot more. That's going to add a new dimension, for Sydney. So whether or not they have Sam be the killer that comes after her and she breaks bad, just like her father, and she comes to finish to avenge, something happens to avenge the death of her father or something like that. But it takes away the whodunit. So I'm not sure they're going to do that. But I don't know. I think the Ghostface going after Sydney and her family to wrap it up is going to be a nice way to end it. But to answer your question, I think it's great that they're bringing Kirby back.
Yeah.
Let me ask you two something. Something I'm curious about. What movie did a better job of establishing a new set of characters? Was it Scream 4 or Scream 5?
I think it was Scream 4.
I'd say 5.
5 had a stronger opening, but I cared. Did you care more about any character in Scream 5 than you did about, say, Kirby?
Outside of Kirby, man, a lot of the characters in 5 just had more personalities. A lot of the ones in 4 were just bland.
No, I disagree. I think the other way around.
Yeah, I didn't care for the characters in 4.
I think the dudes, the dude, you remember the 2 guys that had the podcast? I can't remember the one that got killed that he was like gay.
Yeah.
Like killed, but he was, to me, I cared more about him than anyone else in Scream 5.
And you know why that is? Because they were their own characters, they were their own personalities, and they were new. In 5, everyone was like another version of Randy, another version of so-and-so. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a matter of personal preference. To me, what hurts Scream 4, I think it's all or nothing opening. You know, but
they swung big, and if you hit, it's a home run, a grand slam.
I think it was one fake out too many, but Scream 5 did a good job of using the opening to set up a character that is going to be in the rest of the movie and that you kind of have a relationship with.
Which is kind of the first time they do it in the series, right? No, it is the first time. It's the only time they've done it in the series, and I thought that was handled really well. But as far as pure character, like design, I think that all of them in Scream 4 are better than the ancillary, the supporting characters are better in Scream 4 than they are in Scream 5.
We spent more time with them. I think they were more unique, but I also want to ask, how do you think Scream 5 would have turned out if they stayed with the original ending for Scream 4, which was basically after the fight that Sidney had with Jill, the paramedics come back out and it's like, hey, we got a live one in there. And you basically pick up from there versus the hospital where it's a definitive ending.
Yeah.
It changes everything. Then you can't do what they did in Scream 5 versus kind of pick things up. I honestly wish that they did start off with Sidney, and I don't think you can do it now, but had her be the opening kill that gets away. But I don't know. Next question.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Next question. At what point can you be like, okay, well, this whoever the new killer is, motive, like, can we get like a fresh motive that we haven't seen before? Like, what can you do that would top all the other motives? Or is it just going to be another fucking generic? That's what I'm worried about. Is like, okay, who's the killer this time? What's their motive going to be?
For me, a great thing would be that that the motive has nothing to do with Sidney.
Yeah. No,
I think that's the only way you make it fresh. That the motive is purely based on whomever they're like, somebody else in the cast, but not Sidney. I think that makes it original.
So a motive to...
You need to expand off that. Like, what do you mean?
Like Tara, for instance. Like, to me, I know, and I love Melissa Barrera, and I know they want to make her the new Sidney, but to me, the new Sidney is Tara.
I agree with that. I think
she's a better character, a more complex character, and a better actor. It's just, I don't know. Like, I'm just biased, I guess, when it comes to Jenna Ortega. But I think that you make it about her and instead about Sidney, because even in a roundabout way, Scream 5 is about Sidney. You know what I mean? Like,
it's all about Sidney. It's all Sidney.
3 Sidney, 2 Sidney, 1 Sidney. So if you make
Sidney is the 800-pound gorilla, man. That's why if you have her in there, have her in there. Don't just throw her in there.
That's what I mean. Like, if you make the new movie about one of those two, Barrera or Ortega, I think that is going to make it feel fresh, especially if they call attention to it. If they say, like, if there's in the review, it's like, and they say, this is not about you, Sidney, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, they make it a point to say, like, this isn't about you. It doesn't always have to be about you. Some people might not like it, but I would like it. I think it would be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about the new blood given a shot. I don't have a problem with that. I'm of the belief that you don't need to keep rehashing Sidney and bringing her in the fucking movies. Let the new cast take a spin.
It's not about that though.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, if it's gonna be without Sidney, Scream 6, let the new cast have their shot. Set it up to where, like you said earlier, the cliffhanger with Sidney at the end. Here's what I want to see happen. This might be crazy, but this leads up to Scream 7. Sidney's back. Big killer, big showdown. Who's the fucking killer? It's Stu Macher. Tying all back to the original movie, man. That would be like, if they're going to end this at Scream 7, that'd be the best way to go out, in my opinion. So,
I just think they won't end it at Scream 7. And this is what kind of frustrates me, is that when you have a franchise that generates so much revenue, They're gonna find a reason to bring it back in 10 years. They just will.
Either that, or they're just going to keep rehashing out sequels that go to DVD or streaming. Scream 8, Scream 10, Scream 11.
Scream is too much of a, escargot caviar commodity to be relegated to doing the straight to DVD.
Right.
You know,
100%.
they do that with Tremors, all stuff. And all. There's a market for that still, but they're not going to do that with Scream.
Yeah, I would hate to see them do that.
Well, they're just not. But yeah, go ahead.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Would you guys agree that Scream 3 is the worst in the franchise?
No.
Who's the worst?
I don't think any of them are the worst.
No, if you were going to rank them, who's the last? Which Scream is the last?
I would go in order that they came out with 3 and 4 being interchangeable, depending on how I feel.
Okay, let's just say it's 4, right? For sake of argument.
Mm-hmm.
Scream 4 is better than most of Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween.
You're not gonna have anyone arguing with you.
Yeah, no.
That's what I mean. So Scream is never gonna be a straight to DVD fucking movie.
They're either gonna make it or they're not. But to answer your question, they have so many angles to go. I agree with Rupert. They marvelized Scream, so they didn't need to have a nice clean finish to 5, but there was enough to set up sequels to where, Cuba Gooding's son, how the hell did he survive that? By the way,
exactly.
We're talking. I thought for sure that was a kill.
Yeah, that was
even with his character. Their deputy doing him up. Dewey should have died part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets gut. I don't know how many organs he has left to be gutted in his body.
Like a Wolverine or some shit. He regenerates.
Yeah, but it's a horror movie we accept. They have enough to move on. I don't know how all these people move to New York together. I'm not 100% sure where in New York they're going to pass Montreal for, if they're going to do B-roll, whatever, maybe it's in Queens or something like that. But you know how it is, like when they're setting a place in, Ohio, but then you see the Los Angeles 45-degree tall street curbs that are only in LA. I'm like, it looks like LA to me, but that's all right. There's enough with the characters there where you have Tara and, Melissa Barrera's character to have a sibling rivalry there, have one of them break bad. Obviously, it could either be, Sam, or they can go the Dexter route and have Sam be guided by, it's just going to have to break the mold. If they're willing to break the mold of the whodunit, they got all these angles to go to, from. And they can have Kirby and and Tara try to save, try to go after Sam. But I don't know. I mean, that's the beauty of it. We don't know. There's a lot of different directions they can go. We don't know what directions they will go. And the Neve Campbell drama, believe it or not, is only adding fuel to the fire. And, it's just bringing the curiosity. I mean, it was trending on Twitter for crying. I've never seen Neve Campbell trend on Twitter.
No.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
She's done like a couple shows on random networks.
Don't start. See, don't start with me. Don't start. This is the problem I have. The disrespect. And listen, that's why. Oh, we don't need her character. Oh, she ain't. Listen, you needed her character, obviously. You need all the characters, okay? And Party of Five is one of the best 90s series out there.
We were in elementary when that came out.
Listen, I don't care what year. You watch it today. I saw it. I finished it, current day. Still great. All actors fantastic. Go ahead. What's fun about it?
Fun fact, I have never seen Party of Five. Believe it or not.
Well, that's fine.
Your own culture.
It's what?
He's uncultured.
I'm just not big into rewatching 90s sitcoms.
You haven't watched it to begin with. What do you mean rewatch?
No, I said watching a lot of 90s. There's a lot of 90s sitcoms I haven't seen.
All right, we'll stick with the Mandalorian.
What were you doing in the 90s then?
That's it,
I don't
baby.
understand.
I was playing Nintendo 64, homeboy.
He was getting smoked in GoldenEye by all his buddies.
Yeah, with the golden gun.
Yeah, we had GoldenEye parties. That shit was hardcore. But okay. So what are your give me your final predictions?
I think that they're gonna do a killer that relates back to the sisters, Sam or Tara or both, and it's gonna be some kind of retribution for what happened in Scream 5, a la Scream 2, and but at the very end, it's gonna set up Scream 7. That's what I think is gonna happen.
Yeah, I think. You go ahead, Jack.
No, I was gonna say it's just hard to tell, man, because all the new characters and all the possibilities you could go. I can't really pinpoint a prediction. You know, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I'll be surprised at what they deliver. You know, I don't know. I can't tell. It's hard to tell, man.
If you know, I'm trying to put the story blocks together. They set up basically, you know, Sam was estranged in part one. See, they're already doing it to me.
Yeah, there you go.
In part 5, Scream 5, not Scream 2022, Scream 5. I don't care what anyone says.
There you go.
They set it up. She was estranged. Her sister got attacked. She came home. She finally was vulnerable with her sister. Now they're together. So now she said, I'm not going to make that mistake again. It's ride or die for life. You know, Tara and I, we're going to make things happen. So they moved to New York, you know, other side of the country, fresh start, all this stuff. Everything's good. And it makes sense that they're in New York. Gail's there. So it's an excuse to have Gail there. Maybe she went back on her promise that she made in Scream 5, or maybe Kirby is in the media and it goads Gail to come back, you know, because she's been in the dumps. You know, I mean, they can set it up to where she's kind of like following in Dewey's footsteps, kind of depressed, alcoholic, who the hell knows. It gives Courtney Cox some fun dialogue to play with. She can finally go back to, it's still Gail Weathers, but she's dressing people down in a bar. Who knows what the hell happens? But that's the setup. What happens? I don't know. They're bringing back Mason Gooding's character. I apologize if I got his name wrong. And the Meeks. See, that's the thing. How are they going to bring all them back? Do they all go to New York? Or I'm imagining, I think they're going to have one of those kids be the opening kill.
Yeah.
And it says, you know, we're coming to you, or, you know, it starts happening in New York, because I don't see how it makes sense. All of them move at the same time.
Yeah. It's too much. And
they're all in New York. But I think that coming after Sydney and her family for the finale is a good way to close it out. In my opinion, simply because Sydney has a lot to lose. The relationship is there with the audience. Everyone can relate. Listen, you know, no one wants to see their best friend die, but then it's a different level. Someone's coming after your family. Someone's coming after your son. Someone's coming after your daughter. Someone's coming after your spouse. It's a different level, and everyone can relate to that.
Which is Kincaid, apparently. She's married to Kincaid, so you could probably bring him back as well, you know, for 7. But so I'm probably about to piss off a lot of Scream fans here, but I have a hot take. I think it's a hot take. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but I just feel that Gail has just run her course. I think she should die in this movie, if anything.
I think she should have died in the last movie instead.
I feel like the character's just run its course. I'm not really, you know, I don't know.
You know, it's not beneath either of you guys to showcase such disrespect and you know, towards these legacy characters. You know, quite frankly, I've had enough.
It's like, what more can she do now? You know, like.
Well, I already told you. That's why if you have her the opening kill,
yeah, that would be great. That'd be
set up. What you've said, it's I like that for sure. But as far as substance, there's not a lot of substance that she could bring to the franchise anymore.
There is, because with Kirby, with Kirby, there's a substance there. There can be mentorship. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. The new Randy Meeks character, Randy's relatives, if they're in New York, maybe they can make a pact to stay together. I don't know what the heck, but the main thing is going to be if the relationship between Sam and Tara, that needs to be solid, because in my opinion, the movie won't work if they don't flesh that out. But I think they're going to make sure, as long as that relationship's solid, we'll be along for the ride. I think it makes sense to have Sam as the older sibling be like, you know what? It's time for me to stop being, in my feelings and let go of my insecurities. And I need to be there for my younger sister, and their bond. It's set up for their bond to be stronger and for them to be, in New York together doing whatever the heck they're doing. I don't know what the heck they're going to be doing.
Yeah. Well, either way, let's go ahead and wrap this up, man. Either way,
I'll say though, the cult angle with Matthew Lillard, still being alive or something, the cult angle works, and New York, it brings about new ways to kill people.
Yes, dude. Yeah.
I love that shit.
The delivery, delivering food. All of a sudden, hey, you can have jokes like that. Someone at the bodega, who the hell knows? Subway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, a Subway kill would be dope.
You kill them in the Subway. Stab premieres going on. You can have almost everyone's wearing the stupid ghostface. There's a bunch of stuff. At a play, maybe they take Stab to Broadway. It's a musical. That's what they do in real life. Every IP now they're making into musicals. There's a bunch of ways you can use a New York setting to make it fresh. You don't necessarily have the story be fresh, but the setting makes it fresh. There's a new ways to kill people. It'll be interesting to see how they do that with Montreal.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Beautiful city, by the way.
Yeah, no. I'm always of the belief. When me and Gabe did our little Scream video, we were talking about kills in New York. Like, you got skyscrapers, you got subways.
Oh, there's so much.
There's so much shit you could do there, man. I hope the writers got creative with the new set of kills in this movie.
I'm sure they did. I
hope so. They brought the brutality in the last movie, so
listen.
I'm hearing they can up at this one.
The movie theater experience. I don't go to the movies that often, but I had a fun time watching Scream 5 in the theaters. So I have no doubt, that whatever they end up doing, at the very, very bare minimum, I'll be entertained. And that's the cardinal sin of a movie. You can do whatever the heck you want. Just be entertaining and you're good to go.
Yep. I think so.
Yeah.
Well, let's y'all got any closing comments or thoughts? We can wrap this up.
New Nightmare is not a good movie.
Okay, let me ask you this, Rube. All right, what would that be your least favorite Nightmare movie? New Nightmare?
No, probably not.
What would yours be?
Not. My least favorite? I don't know, like the remake for sure.
I didn't like the reboot either, honestly.
I didn't like it. I did like some interesting things that they did in it though, story wise. But
I don't like what they did with Freddy though. I don't like what they did with Freddy, his backstory. But that's a whole another conversation, bro.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's wrap this up, man. I'm tired of hearing you guys jawing, so let's kindly get the fuck out of here. But yeah, hey, appreciate you guys doing this with me, man. We can do more because there's going to be so much more Scream shit coming up in the coming months. News reports, press releases, trailers, all kinds of shit. So we can talk.
Anytime. It's been fun. And for people in the comment section, go easy on Roop, please. He didn't mean about the New Nightmare comment. He didn't really mean.
Don't listen to Mike. Mike's a sucker. Mike's a sucker for old stuff. He looks at things with his rose-colored glasses.
Well, I mean, see, I don't think New Nightmare is the best Nightmare movie, but it's not the worst. It's probably middle of the pack for me. But
way to take a stance, Zach. Come on, baby.
No, yeah, I mean, it's a cool concept. I always like the concept, real life shit.
Cool
real life
concept. Here we go.
It's unique. It's unique.
We're supposed to wrap this up. You guys are getting me all riled up again. What the hell's wrong with you guys?
Yeah.
I can always cut this up into 2 episodes. Oh shit! All right, guys, let's get out of here. Thanks.
Pleasure talking with you guys.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was fun. All right. Well, we will see y'all on the next one, man. Thanks for watching.